Quickly, before the video starts, click subscribe and then notifications so you never miss one of these car reviews. Obviously, this one, a very large pickup truck. I'm 5'9".
Pickup trucks are the best-selling vehicles in America. They're a big deal. Some are bigger than others. The 2020 GMC Sierra 2500 HD is large and in charge, unless you make U-turns on a regular basis. With the standard-sized bed, this one's nearly 21 feet long.
It's always an adventure when you're turning this thing around.
When it comes to big kahunas, the Denali model is the kahuna's kahuna, if that makes sense. In the GMC line, it doesn't get any more luxurious.
Let me be completely upfront with you. Reviewing a car, SUV, or crossover is second nature to me because I use their attributes all the time, and I'm a city guy. Now, a full-size 2500 series HD pickup truck? I'm not as familiar with those because all of the chores and remodeling that I do can be done with a Honda Ridgeline, and I don't tow. This is like melting butter with a flamethrower.
A few folks might buy a 2500 simply to intimidate Civic and Corolla drivers, but in these days of heightened sensitivity to disappearing glacier and polar bear, one would hope it would be a work tool to move stuff like this. Depending on how the 2500 is ordered, it can handle nearly 2 tons of payload and can tow up to 18,500 pounds. With the proper hookup, of course. The 3500 can tow up to 35,500 pounds if you need that. Stopping is as important as pulling. There are huge brakes to make that happen.
GMC claims automotive-grade braking with this thing, and I would say that's accomplished. They're quite good. Also, there's an engine brake setting. It's not Jake braking. It doesn't make that rat-a-tat-tat-tat sound.
That takes the stress off the binders during long downgrades. The 2500 gets a choice of 3 cab sizes. This is the largest crew cab. If this bed is too short, there's always the long one. There are 2 engines. The gasoline drinker is a 6.6-liter V8 with 401 horsepower and 464 pound-feet of torque. This badge tells the world the Duramax 6.6-liter V8 Turbodiesel is on the job. FYI, my tripod is fully extended, which shows you how large this truck is. That is the sound of 445 horsepower and 910 pound-feet of torque. Pretty serious. To keep emissions clean, the diesel uses AdBlue fluid. Diesel 2500s get an Allison 10-speed automatic. Any manual shifting will be done here. Awkwardly, the 4-wheel drive system has a convenient automatic setting, plus the expected settings for a truck that's designed for heavy lifting. There's an onboard app that stores an owner's settings for the loads that they commonly tug. An automatic parking brake setting can kick in to keep Sierra stable while hitching. You want cameras? The Sierra Denali has them. More than a Hollywood studio, there are 15 different views.
There's also an accessory camera that goes onto the back of the load that you are towing, and then it integrates with this screen and makes it appear as though the trailer has disappeared. It becomes invisible. One thing GMC doesn't offer, though, is the system that Ford has, that when you are backing up with a trailer, allows you to steer and aim watching the screen. It's really handy.
If that trailer is extremely large or blocky, these give a driver an advantage without having to get out of the cab.
The Sierra 2500 weighs some 7,700 pounds, but don't forget, there's 910 pound-feet of torque. Despite its size and weight, this thing does move off the line in that effortless diesel sort of way. I'll estimate 0 to 60 happens in about 8 seconds.
It's the same sort of feeling you get taking off in a 747, like it's thumbing its nose at physics.
As far as driving dynamics are concerned, well, this is a big truck. It doesn't handle like a sports car, but once you get it out on the highway, it cruises pretty nicely.
The ride is firm, and large bumps will cause this truck to bound a bit, but for a ginormous work tool with serious capability, it's remarkably refined. In the 1500 segment, Ram is the driving dynamic to beat. I've not driven that brand's 2500. You'll have to do your homework there.
No doubt about it, the diesel engine sounds like a diesel engine. That's not an entirely bad thing. The volume is never too loud, and this is a big truck, so the ambiance is appropriate.
The Duramax pretty much only makes itself known under heavy throttle. The fact that I didn't notice any transmission hiccups at all is a good sign, but obviously I didn't tow anything, which means I didn't test the trailer sway control.
One big gripe I have, this is the fancy GMC, the Denali, and yet, no adaptive cruise control? What year is this? It's nearly 2020.
It does have automatic emergency braking, and that's a very good thing. No one wants to be hit by this. For the times when payload blocks the back window, this trick rear view mirror uses a camera for a clear view, though your eyes do have to refocus when looking at it.
Trucks in this class are not required to have an EPA fuel economy rating. It does have a 36-gallon tank, and I am averaging almost 17 miles per gallon. What were you expecting, a Prius?
And let's keep in mind, this is highway cruising. In the city, where the Sierra 2500 is a handful to maneuver, I was seeing closer to 12 mpg.
The 2500 feels big from behind the wheel, and I know that's sort of a duh statement, but I mean, I'm talking massive. I was in Seattle and went by a Metro bus, and I was actually looking down on the passengers.
You'd be forgiven if wondering if oxygen masks will deploy in case of sudden cabin pressure loss. It rides that high. This being the Denali, it's the boss's ride. There are lower trim levels for the working crew. As far as fit, finish, and materials, Denali slots in between the excellent Ram interior and Ford's cabin. There are some nice touches in here and plastics that are on the budget side for a luxury model. And every time I open the door, the seams where the two pieces of this release come together can be felt. As long as I'm griping, there are no adjustable pedals for smaller drivers. On the positive, the wheel is toasty on command, and chairs that can handle the largest trucker are heated and vented. Storage? It's everywhere. A small child, or at least a 15-inch laptop computer, will stash away here. The biggest problem will be keeping track of where everything is. Yes, 2 glove boxes. In order to get this GoPro shot, I popped out of the sunroof where I discovered that the console is as solid as can be. All in the name of testing. There's a built-in Wi-Fi hotspot and the ability to charge any device, including computers. In the unlikely event that you run out of ports, phones charge wirelessly. There are a lot of buttons and switches here, which can be distracting while driving until they become second nature. The 8-inch touchscreen interface is on the smaller side, but response is excellent. I may not like the grainy sound quality of Sirius XM radio, but the ability to skip and rewind songs is a nice addition. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard and no extra cost.
If your 3 largest friends aren't comfortable back here, I don't know what to say. You run with a pretty large crowd. It's very spacious back here.
Lots of places to stash things here, and this clever space. Just be careful not to forget that you've left gear here, like I did. The outboard positions are heated for a warm, fuzzy feeling, and again, no shortage of charging options. Hauling a new giant TV back from Costco, it'll fit back here, so will anything else that you don't want taken from the bed.
You have heard about the Multi-Pro tailgate, right? It's a GMC exclusive and it does all sorts of things. If you're the site foreman and you want to work on your computer, it's a stand-up desk of sorts. Create a second level in the bed and you can haul sheetrock and plywood above and then store stuff down below. Pretty slick. Also, it's a regular tailgate, wonder of all wonders. The load stop, very, very handy. Nice to have that built in. And since the HD's bed is on the high side, this breakaway is really nice. Makes it much easier to reach in. Then it's also a step or a bench. Now, a lot of people might think this is simply a gimmick, but when I was remodeling my kitchen about 9 months ago, I used it all the time. It really works, and my guess is anybody that owns this will find at least 2 or 3 of the positions a real game changer.
No, I am not doing the TP test. I never do that with pickups, and it's really too bad that I had this behemoth with no household chores to do. All I have left on my kitchen remodel is to install a few outlets, and I could run that errand in my Miata. Can't run power tools off the Mazda though. Arguably, the GMC's unyielding design is more solid than Brother Silverado. There are a few odd flourishes on the bowtie version. The usefulness is the same though. I do love these footholds that GM does. It makes cargo wrangling easier. The GMC Sierra 2500 starts at around $37,200 for a 2-wheel drive standard cab model with a gas engine. The Duramax diesel adds nearly 10 grand to the tab. This particular Denali retails for $78,455, but as always, fierce competition means all sorts of incentives and deals. Like all pickups, size up your chores, do the research, and buy the truck you need. It may not have to be this large. For hauling serious cargo and towing big toys, the GMC Sierra 2500 HD is no shrinking violet. Pickup buyers famously tend to be very brand loyal, but I highly suggest being clinical and checking out the wide variety available today. Only you can assess your needs and particular sense of style. Even with deep discounts, these rigs are not inexpensive, so you'll want to buy right the first time. And while I could have gone deep in the weeds with which one tows more and all, I'm going to leave that to your research because there are too many variables involved. Covering all the bases would take a half hour. All of us would be bored. I can assure you this one is very capable.
Hope you got something out of my look at the 2020 GMC Sierra Denali 2500 HD pickup truck. And for those who are thinking, oh, that multi-pro tailgate, that's something that's going to break. Apparently, during development, it went through hundreds of thousands of test cycles. It's supposed to be pretty robust, so time will tell, right? And a reminder, click subscribe, that button right there, that goofball right there. Click subscribe and then notifications so you never miss these car reviews, okay? There you go. That's Driven. I'm Tom Voelk.